What if the key to Julie's storywalking was never hidden in a book, never hidden in Victor's drawings, and never buried inside the tunnels? What if it was hiding in plain sight on Kristi? Late in the season, while everyone is focused on Fatima's impossible pregnancy, Boyd's breakdown, and the growing chaos inside the town, Kristi appears wearing something she has never worn before. Not her medic shirt, not her usual clinic clothes, but blue work coveralls, a repair uniform, and in From, clothes are never random. This is the same show where every object matters. Every symbol matters. Every detail has weight. So when Kristi suddenly steps into frame dressed like someone who fixes broken systems, you have to ask yourself one question.
Why now?
Because there's only one character in the entire mythology of this story connected to a repair uniform. And his name changes everything. His name is Fred, the Storywalker. And if that connection is real, then it means Julie's ability to move through time was never broken. It was incomplete. And Kristi may be carrying the final piece. To understand this, we need to go back to the beginning. Not to the town, not to the monsters, but to the books. From has always hidden its biggest truths inside children's stories. Most fans focus on Flight of the Crowman, The Lake of Tears, The Lonely Dragon, Ethan's favorite book, the one everyone uses to map the town. But that book may only be the surface, because the second book is where the real rules live. The Adventures of the Grand Gooliog. At first, it seemed like random background material. Just another strange story Ethan brought into town. But Season 4 quietly changed that. Because inside that book is the first direct explanation of storywalking. And more importantly, the first person we ever hear connected to it. Fred. Randall reads it out loud. Almost casually. Like it doesn't matter. But it matters more than anything. Fred was an elevator repairman who spent his weekends storywalking through the greatest adventures of all time.
Think about that.
Not a king. Not a chosen one. Not a monster. A repairman. Someone whose entire identity is fixing systems. And now think about Julie. Julie can storywalk. We know that. We've seen it. She can step outside the normal timeline and enter moments that already happened. But she has one huge problem. She can't control it. Every time she enters, she's lost. Every time she tries to choose a destination, she fails. It's like having the power without the instruction manual. That's where Fred comes in. Because Fred wasn't just a storywalker. He understood the rules. The book tells us exactly how. The bookmark method. Fred explains that if you want to return to a point in the story, you have to leave a mark. A bookmark. A symbol. Something that anchors you. And Julie tries this. She copies the method perfectly. She draws the symbol, leaves it behind, follows the rules, and it still fails. That's the part everyone keeps missing. Because if the method failed, there are only two possibilities. Either the method was wrong, or Julie used the wrong anchor. And I think Season 4 just revealed the answer. Because what if Fred's real anchor was never the paper? What if the paper was just the trigger? What if the true anchor was always something else? Something physical. Something tied to identity. Something worn. Look at Fred again. The show never describes him without his uniform. Not once. He isn't just Fred. He's Fred the repairman. That matters. In From, identity and clothing are connected. Victor's lunchbox mattered. The boy in white's clothes matter. The man in yellow's suit matters. These aren't costumes. They're markers, anchors, proof of where someone belongs in the story. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, Kristi is wearing Fred's exact type of uniform. Blue coveralls, rolled sleeves, name patch, repair worker identity. This isn't random wardrobe. This is a message. And the terrifying part is this. Kristi doesn't know she's wearing it. But Julie might. Because if Julie realizes what that uniform really is, then she may finally understand the truth. Her paper bookmark failed because it could be lost. A real anchor has to stay with you. A real anchor has to become part of you. And clothes? Clothes do exactly that. They travel with you. They define you. They stay attached across every chapter. And if that's true, then Kristi isn't just wearing a random outfit. She's wearing the missing key to storywalking. And that changes everything. Because now the question isn't whether Julie can control her power. The question is, what happens when she finally can? Now here's where the theory gets darker. Because if Kristi really is carrying the key to storywalking, then we have to ask the obvious question. Why her? Why not Julie? Why not Ethan, the kid obsessed with these books? Why not Victor, the man who has spent decades surviving inside this place? Why put Fred's uniform on Kristi? At first, it makes no sense. Kristi has no powers, no visions, no strange connection to the town. She's one of the most grounded characters in the entire show. A med student, a healer, someone who deals in logic, blood, pain, and survival. No magic, no mythology. And that's exactly why I think she matters. Because Fred wasn't just a storywalker. He was a fixer. That's the word that keeps coming back. Fixer.
Repairman.
System worker. Someone who understood how broken things connect. And Kristi? That's her entire identity.
She fixes people.
She holds the town together every time it starts falling apart. Every injury. Every emergency. Every impossible thing that should kill someone. Kristi steps in and repairs it. So maybe the show isn't saying Kristi is the next Fred. Maybe it's saying Kristi mirrors Fred. Not in power. In purpose. That's important. Because From loves parallels. It repeats patterns over and over. Different faces. Same role. Different lives. Same function. And if Fred's role was understanding broken systems, then Kristi wearing his uniform might be the show connecting those two ideas. Two fixers. One fixes bodies. The other fixes timelines. And Julie? Julie is caught right in the middle. She's the broken system. Think about her story walking this season. Every jump feels unstable. She doesn't choose where she lands. She gets thrown,
Pulled.
dragged into moments like something else is controlling it. And every time she comes back, she looks worse, more confused, more scared, like each trip is taking something from her. That doesn't feel like mastery. That feels like damage. And here's the terrifying possibility. What if storywalking isn't supposed to work the way Julie is doing it? What if she's forcing herself into the story without the proper anchor? That would explain everything. The failed bookmark, the unstable jumps, the strange connection to the man in yellow. Because every time Julie storywalks, he's there. That can't be coincidence. At first, it feels like he's following her. But what if it's the other way around? What if Julie keeps landing where he already is? And what if there's a reason for that? Go back to Fred's story. Fred teaches the Grand Gooliog how to storywalk. That part sounds harmless. But it might be the most dangerous thing in the entire mythology. Because once the creature learns, everything changes. A monster with access to the story itself. A creature that can move between chapters.
Past.
Present. Future. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Because that's exactly what the man in yellow feels like. He doesn't act like the monsters. He's different.
Smarter. Calmer.
Like he knows things before they happen. Like he's already seen them. That's not prediction. That's memory. And if that's true, then Julie may be walking into something far bigger than she understands. She may not be discovering storywalking. She may be repeating it, recreating the same mistake Fred made, teaching the wrong person, feeding the wrong system. And this is where Kristi's uniform becomes terrifying. Because if that uniform is the anchor, then whoever wears it gains control. But control cuts both ways. It helps you navigate, but it also makes you visible, trackable, connected. Think about what an anchor really does. It ties you to a place, but it also keeps that place tied to you. That means if Julie wears Fred's uniform, she may finally control where she goes. But the thing waiting in those chapters may also gain easier access to her. A permanent connection. A bridge. And if the man in yellow is already learning from her, that bridge could be the final piece he needs. That's why Kristi matters. Because right now the uniform is safe. Dormant. Hidden on someone who doesn't understand it. But the second Julie sees it, everything changes. The key becomes active. The door opens wider. And in From, doors never open without something coming through. That's the pattern. Every answer creates a worse question. Every solution hides a trap. And if this theory is right, then Julie's biggest breakthrough may become the town's biggest disaster. Because the moment she stops getting lost, the thing chasing her may stop getting lost too. And this is where everything connects. Because if Kristi is holding the key, then season May 4th already be showing us how Julie uses it. Look at Julie's pattern. Every time she storywalks, she enters moments tied to pain. Moments tied to loss. Moments that feel unfinished. That's not random. Stories in From are built on emotion. Fear, guilt, regret. Those are the things that hold the chapters together. And Julie carries all three. She blames herself for what happened to her family. She carries the weight of Jim. She carries the fear of what this town is turning her into. That emotional weight may be why she can enter the story at all. But emotion isn't enough. Emotion opens the door. Method controls where it goes. And that's what Fred understood. The symbol wasn't the power. The paper wasn't the power. The uniform wasn't even the power. The power is understanding. Understanding how the system works. And suddenly, Kristi becomes more important than we realized. Because what does Kristi do better than anyone? She studies. She observes. She notices patterns. She diagnoses. That's what medicine is. You look at symptoms and trace them back to the cause. And that may be exactly what the town needs right now. Not another fighter. Not another hero. A diagnostician. Someone who can examine the broken system itself. What if Kristi is the one who figures out what the uniform really is? Not Julie. That changes everything. Because Julie acts on emotion. Kristi acts on logic. If Julie found the uniform first, she'd use it immediately. But Kristi? She'd ask questions. Where did this come from? Why does it feel important? Why is Julie reacting to it? And those questions might uncover the truth before it's too late. But there's one detail that makes this even bigger. The patch. 3J's Plumbing. That is far too specific. Shows like From do not create fake company names for no reason. 3J's. Think about those initials.
Jim, Julie, Jade.
Three of the most important people connected to the town's mysteries. Jim, the builder. Jade, the seeker. Julie, the walker. Three different pieces of one machine. One builds. One decodes. One travels. That can't be accidental. It feels like the show is marking them. Like the uniform belongs to all three. Not just Fred. And if that's true, then the repairman role was never meant for one person. It was always a team. That changes the story completely. Maybe Julie was never supposed to storywalk alone. Maybe that's why it keeps failing. She's missing the other pieces. Jim's understanding of structure. Jade's understanding of symbols. Julie's ability to move. Together, they form the full mechanism. The full repair system. And suddenly, 3J's Plumbing stops sounding like a random patch. It starts sounding like instructions. 3J's fix the system. That's what plumbing does. It moves what's hidden underneath. Water, pressure, flow, systems no one sees. That sounds exactly like storywalking. A hidden network running under everything. And now think about the town itself.
Tunnels under the ground.
Wires that go nowhere. Routes connecting impossible places. Everything in From is built like a hidden system. A plumbing system. A network. A maze. Fred wasn't fixing elevators. He was fixing movement. Movement between levels. Movement between chapters. Movement between worlds. And Julie may be standing right on the edge of understanding that. But here's the final thing that keeps bothering me. What if the uniform isn't meant to help Julie? What if it's bait? Think about it. The town keeps placing answers right in front of people. But every answer costs something. Every truth comes with pain. So, what if this uniform is the same? A gift that isn't a gift. A tool placed exactly where Julie would find it. A trap designed to pull her deeper. Because if the man in yellow needs Julie to master storywalking, then giving her the key would be the fastest way to make that happen. That would explain everything. Why the uniform appeared now. Why it appeared on Kristi. Why the patch is so specific. Why the story keeps pushing Julie toward understanding. It may not be helping her escape. It may be guiding her exactly where the town wants her. And if that's true, then the moment Julie puts on that uniform may be the moment the story changes forever. Not because she wins, but because something else does. That's the terrifying possibility. Kristi isn't just carrying clothes. She's carrying the next chapter. And Julie may be the one destined to wear it. The paper bookmark failed. The symbol failed. But the real anchor has been here the whole time. Hiding in plain sight. Waiting. And now all that matters is one thing. Who puts it on first?